Alright, so here's what I did. I replaced the cruise switch. I moved the cruise lever. So that's the switch there. It's closed with the cruise disabled to pass the cranking signal. I had to pull this entire plate off. It was these bottom two bolts, and then I had to pull the 2-speed axle retaining bushings on the upper and the lower right here off to slide the shaft away, and then I could finally pull that bracket away. Oh, and I had to remove the tension bolt here. Come on, you freaking focus thing. I had to remove this tension bolt, which was really difficult to get back on, by the way. Having somebody to press the hydro pedal down, because it kind of wants to spring back, and it's harder to work with it. Anyway, I got that all replaced. This is basic mechanical work. It's just surprisingly fidgety for a small area, because these, to get the switch off the plate, these are 5/16 bolts. There's nuts on the back. If there weren't nuts on the back, you could unscrew these bolts and potentially pull the switch up over the back, unplug it, and take it out, but they didn't do that. They put nuts on the back. So you have to pull this whole plate off the tractor, unplug it, and replace the switch, and Anyway, so I did all that. This is my voltage drop test from the battery cable to the solenoid. And obviously right now it's got open circuit sort of, or I guess technically battery voltage, since the solenoid appears to be grounded when it's not engaged. Maybe that's an ignition switch function. So the test is, what does the voltage do? Oh boy, this is going to be difficult. Let me try this. Okay, so the test is, what is the voltage? You gonna focus on that? There. What is the voltage drop when cranking? And it's trying to fire up in the cold here, but I'll get the idea. 1 volt. I'll tell you this, it's cranked every single time that I've tried. And that's really encouraging. I'll go inside and show you the old switch just so you can see. Okay, so here's the old switch. How about some focus? Yeah. So it makes a weird clicking sound. The new one actually does not do that. I thought this was an indication that the old one was good, but I tested the resistance and I didn't see anything wrong with it. I believe it is the left two. Do I have this oriented right? I think the left two are open, and then they close when you close this, and then these two are the opposite for the cruise indicator light. I believe is how this is a double pole type of deal. So yeah, I mean, again, the resistance checks, it checked good, but what happens when you pass current through it, right? You'd have to use a real couple of amp draw to get the real idea on how this does, and I did not do that. But resistance wise, it was like 1 or less, maybe even 0 ohms. I mean, I don't know, and I it's not conclusive, because I got to run the tractor for longer than 3 cranks to conclude anything. But I'll say it has not clicked and no started yet since they put the new switch on. So I'm gonna keep buttoning it up, put the high-low speed axle, 2-speed axle adjuster rod bushings back on, and then I think I'm done. That'd be nice. Well, it wasn't to be. Still had intermittent issues, so what I ended up doing here is doing the cruise harness delete short situation. So I've got a bypass wire, so it'll crank without the cruise switch. In fact, without this harness plugged in at all, it'll crank now, because let's just prove that. Yeah, so the cruise isn't even plugged in there. So what I'll do is I'll plug that back in, so the cruise light will at least work, but it'll crank with the cruise now, and we'll see if this solves the problem. Okay, got the cruise bypass wire in. Now that still works. If I turn the cruise on, it shows, but to prove that it's bypassing, it'll crank like that. Let's prove that. Come on, you. You can do it. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's really bad, huh? The finger's too cold to do the thing. Alright, we'll just try that. What's the voltage drop on that? Actually 0. So I guess that is the issue. Because even when it cranked before, there was still a, I don't know, 0.3 voltage drop. And now when it cranks, there's like nothing at all. And it does crank with the cruise engaged. So that seems to fix it. So I guess it's a pin or something on a plug. Oh, now it focuses. There's too much glare on there. There, how about this? Of course, now it's wanting to idle and start with no choke on a 29-degree day. That's impressive, by the way. Yeah, so we'll run it like that. Could have just done this from the start. This is how I'm doing my voltage drop test, by the way. It's the best way to do it because it tells you exactly what the starter is getting from the battery and then what the solenoid is getting from the battery through all the garbage. So yeah, my delete, no, keep calling it delete. It's the bypass, the copper. You can see it in there. Oh, it won't focus because it never focuses, but so eventually that'll vibrate out and not work properly, and then I'll have to, you know, check that. But that'll get me going through the winter, I think. There must be a corroded plug or something. I don't know. I guess we're done. Could have saved the solenoid and the cruise switch and all kinds of other BS and just shorted that from the beginning had I known, but I didn't.